bring 'em out, bring 'em out, bring 'em out, bring 'em out.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for Bring 'em Out with your hosts, Joel Richardson and Alan Hill.
Hey everybody, we're here at the Sunnybrook Ballroom inside the Speakeasy for another episode of Bring 'em Out. I'm Alan Hill, here with Soul Joel himself, Joel Richardson, and today we have another in our behind-the-scenes series with Mr. Jesse Marchese, one of our producers. Thanks for joining us, Jess.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
It's weird being on the other side of the camera with you guys.
Yeah.
You know, usually I'm over there.
We appreciate all your help, bro. This would not have started without you, my man.
Yeah, to break down, again, the fourth wall, Jesse came to me, one of the guys that now runs the open mic, and next week it'll be a year that we've been doing the open mics.
It's a year already.
It's a year already, yeah. And not only has him and Chris Reynolds and Jeremy Hupsher, and Dylan, of course, the four guys that rotate on a monthly basis, have
Four
really
horsemen.
made that their baby, taking one thing off my plate. But then comes to me, is like, all right, now that we got this, why are you not doing a podcast? I'm like, well, I did podcasts before most of these guys even had podcasts.
Yeah.
I was doing a podcast in 2009, and doing it on the radio, and then would launch it, getting 20,000 listeners a week.
What?
Shit.
Yeah.
Dang, bro.
Yeah, well, not anymore.
You and Bobby Kelly invented podcasting, it sounds like.
Yeah. But I was like, the one thing that was dragging me down was doing everything behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do that and I just got to do this and show up, let's go.
Yes.
And now that's why we're here.
Well, yeah, Joe was a guest on my podcast, the Crump Show podcast. New episodes Monday, 7:30 on YouTube.
Hell yeah, and it's a banger, man. I love that show.
And,
By the way, I like the looking at the camera.
He's a fucking pro. Look at him.
Yeah.
But I did Joel did our podcast, and after when you edit stuff and produce the podcast, you end up watching it 2 or 3 times. So I was like, man, this guy's a great interview. And I said, he's probably got, however many years you were in comedy of stories.
Yeah.
And now all the behind the scenes stuff. Of
Not so
promoting
good on
shows.
stage, but in front of the camera on the pod. There might be something there.
With the power of editing, he's a real gem.
I could do something with this guy.
Once the lights come on.
Yeah. No, but I just figured you would be a really good podcast host, and you have the stories and the personality and all that, and you never know who's going to come through the door.
Or tell a story twice.
Well,
Key to any good podcaster, by the way.
Yeah. Everybody has their go-tos.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I just thought it would be a good idea. And once I've settled into doing our podcast, I was like, well, there's no reason I couldn't do it for somebody else.
Yeah.
And I said, that would be a good fit right there.
Yeah.
And here we are. I don't know how many episodes in we are.
Yeah, we're 40 something.
Right around
Yeah.
40. Yeah, man. This trio will push us into the 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It's amazing, man. It's amazing, and thank you, Jess, because I've said it behind the scenes a bunch, but
Right, yeah, I appreciate it.
listen, man, this I've wanted to do a podcast for a long time, but this old dog ain't learning that trick.
Right, yeah.
And this old dog did, man. That's a credit to you, brother,
Yeah,
for real.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
A year ago, we had 0. Now we have 3 podcasts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, we have a morning show. We do Monday through Thursday. This show that we release on Tuesdays. And then we just added the Nittany
Nittany
Extra,
Lions.
which is a podcast with 2 guys, Bob and Rich. Rich, this is his 35th season.
Whoa.
Covering the Penn State football program.
That is the real deal football stuff if you're a Nittany Lion fan. And I saw that the numbers were doing real well coming in the second week, man.
Well, Mike Keller, God bless him, he's the one that brought those guys in. He explained, like, oh, by the way, this isn't on radio, so you guys need to promote this.
Yes.
I goes, oh, that's what you want me to do? Boom.
Yeah.
Whoa. Nice.
Yeah. It's that niche, man.
Yeah.
Penn State faithful. We are Penn State.
Dude, listen, there's a reason that stadium has over 100,000 people in it every Saturday afternoon, man. It's something else.
It
It's
turns
something
into
else.
one of the biggest cities in Pennsylvania, I think,
Yes.
when they have a game there.
Yes.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's not just the ones going in the stadium that are rolling in.
Right.
It's like a Grateful Dead show, man. There's a whole parking lot scene.
Yeah.
Outside of obviously Pittsburgh and Philadelphia,
Right.
I think it's probably the biggest town.
Yeah, man.
In Pennsylvania.
It's impressive. It's something else. I got buddies that have season tickets and stuff, and it's a thing, man. I've never gone to a Penn State game. It's one of the experiences in PA that I've never done that I need to do.
Yeah, man. Huge football fan.
I know.
It's like you have to go.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
What the hell have I been doing? Let's go. So somebody with tickets, hit me
But
up.
are you a college fan?
I am, but I don't have a team, and it's a little different when you don't have a team. I love Penn State. They're the one I keep my eyes on the most, probably. But I'm not. It's not like them like with the Eagles. You know what I mean? And I went to UMass Lowell.
You don't bleed gray and blue.
No, I don't. And I like them. And if I had to root, if they're playing somebody, I'm probably rooting for them. But they're not like I am with the Eagles. And I went to UMass Lowell. Not a powerhouse for college football, So I don't have a connection there. You know what I mean? So I used to watch it because I'm a big NFL draft nerd. So I used to watch it just to scout because I loved it. And I would have a notebook, me, with my obsessiveness with notebooks, and I had notebooks filled with
Something
draft
tells me you
information.
got 3 or 4.
Yeah. I've got a few, buddy. Yep.
Well, speaking of connections, I love, again, breaking down the fourth wall, hearing Jesse's laugh.
Oh, I love it.
Probably like my laugh at a comedy show. We don't have listeners where we see them, like an audience, like live comedy. So I know Jesse tries to be professional, but every once in a while he lets a laugh sneak out. And I'm like, well, if he's laughing.
And we know we got a good one if we get Jesse.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a banger.
He's not like he's not like me. He's not laughing at everything.
First couple of times I'm like, we'll edit this and post. Like,
I love that, man.
and then we don't. And by we, I mean Jesse.
Yeah, right.
It's podcasting, baby.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
I love
Movie
it, man. I
magic.
love it.
But you started adding like the graphics and then like the at symbols like for the Instagram and all the pauses, bringing a little movie magic.
Right, yeah.
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 I love too the editing in the beginning with the all the times that I'm near a heart attack trying to pump the crowd up.
Yeah, I love that too, man.
Different outfits, different colors of plaid.
Yeah.
I've really grown into this Soul Joel, Pennsylvania boy.
Oh, and I texted Jesse recently because one of my favorite moments was I don't remember which number it was, but it was recent. It was in the last month, and it was probably somewhere between 35 and 38, one of what we did together. And it ended. We had this whole thing we were doing at the end where we were doing the chef's kiss thing, you know.
Yeah.
And we both went at one point. We both went and looked right at each other. And he paused it right there and chopped it. And it was good. I really enjoyed that.
Thank you. That was kind of you guys. I just, you just put the lightning in a bottle. I just capped it.
I love it. I love it. But man, it would have just been two dudes talking to each other if you hadn't rolled in with the idea, man. So again, thank you. Yeah.
No worries, man.
Now let me hit the Crumb Show pot. Because I started watching the Joel episode. It's worth going
Speaking
back
of
and
notebooks,
checking
let
out.
me hit you with the pen.
Yeah.
Here's a little journalism I learned in Lancaster.
There you go.
Glasses on, baby.
That's right. One-room schoolhouse.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's just me, Amish, and Mennonite.
Yeah. I tell you, there's 2 nervous guys on this couch. I don't know where this is going.
So talk about your crew, dude. Talk about the Crumb Show crew, because you got a great crew over there, funny guys and interesting characters. I love it.
All right. Well, Jerry's my brother, even though he goes by Jerry Joe Pesci.
Right, which is
That's
hilarious.
his Rodney the Cable Guy alter ego.
I love
That's how you can get away with saying whatever you want. You know what I
Right.
mean?
I love that.
So, but really, it's the brainchild of Fats.
Okay.
That's me and him started doing stand-up up here. Well, he had mentioned he started writing some bits. And I said, well, Soul Joel's is having an open mic on September 13th, I think it was. And he was like, all right, let's go. So I said, well, if you're going to do it, I'm going to do it. So I had kind of like figured out how to write a joke, kind of like 10% of the 90% or 100% you need. So I kind of came up with some bullshit, and we came up and did it. And then like a week later, he was like, we should start a podcast. He was like, I want to call it The Crumb Show. And I was like, all right, I'm in. So I've been watching podcasts for years, so I said, I kind of think I know what it takes. They record the audio separately, they record the video separately. Somehow you got to link it up, and you need a song and an intro and a logo and all that shit. So I was like, I think I can do it. I had practiced with playing with beats a year or two before that, like just making music. Like
I didn't know that. Okay.
with an intro, I made the very first intro on the Crumb Show.
Right on.
And then a dude donated, a guy we know that does music, he donated. He was on our podcast too, Rock Bottom. But I said, I think I figured out how to do it, put it all together. I figured out a space to do it in. need a good aesthetic and all that stuff I learned on watching Renovate My House type shit.
Yeah, I love it.
And
HGTV.
HGTV, yeah.
This old house leads to podcast.
yeah.
Might as well
I love
give
it.
credit where credit's due.
That's it. So I did all that, and I just kind of figured it out. A couple YouTube videos, but listening to podcasts, like they really tell you how to do this, how to do it. Like just little things they talk about, and little things they have there. Like like let me see this kind of microphone that I see on Are You Garbage? It's reasonably priced. It's going to get the job done. Let's get them.
Right on.
Stuff like that.
Yeah,
you
if
know?
it works for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Well,
smart.
Dude, that's what Andrew Schultz. I was talking to him at Giannis Pappas' wedding, and I think he's the only guy that was at that wedding that I haven't had at a show.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and but he was open because I had just produced one of my first specials.
Oh, okay.
And not me personally, but it was Richie Byrne. I was just talking to him about what I should do with it, and he was just open and honest. Like, it's not about this one; it's about the next one, and you want to chop it up and use it as bits to create exposure, and that's like. But he's just open and honest about his formula. It's not a secret to success. He just shares the knowledge.
Right.
Schultze is so cool that way, man. Like that dude. First of all, he rocket shipped to stardom by doing exactly that kind of stuff. Like he's telling you the game plan he followed that worked for him, and he's been open about it to anybody that wants to listen the entire ride.
Yeah.
I respect that guy a lot. As a businessman in comedy, I respect him as much as anybody walking.
2 channels over 1 million subscribers.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Probably 2
crazy.
million at this point. He's more powerful than a TV network at this point.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
East Coast Rogan.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, what you said about him, explaining the formula and helping people out.
Which is one example of,
Right. Well, that's what I've, from being here and around you and all the different comics and stuff, everybody is so nice and more than willing to talk shop and help you out, just give you advice. You know what I mean? It's like weird. There's no any hesitation or anything. If you ask anybody, and we're all kind of on the same level. We do have like guys that are headliners pop in and they'll stop and talk. They want to stand in a circle and just talk shit. And, oh, well, when you say this, you should do this. And if they listen to your bit, they give you a little, sometimes they might give you a tag or some shit. And it's really, it's nice. You know what I mean?
Well,
I like
and
that.
that makes me
Cool thing,
feel
dude.
good. But I also, after 17 years, I can read people. And there's been so many people that come hot out the gate. Or they come to a show and they're like, they just want a shortcut to success. They don't want to know how to.
Yeah.
They want to know, how do I get up here?
Yeah.
Not
Right.
how do I get,
Right. Yeah.
how do I just get here?
Yes.
Right.
Just put a rocket ship. And you're like, no, that's not how. So one guy, I don't want to mention the name, but came to a show, was friends with another comic. They grew up together. And he was like, so I want to, start doing shows. Start. And I just heard that. I go, oh, so where have you been performing? I haven't been. I'm like, well, you're not going to start. Like, I'm not. You
You're
got
not
to put
just
the time
walking
in, man.
on to a headliner.
Just because
gig.
you started, yeah. I'm like, but the guys, like, I have to put on the guys that have been
Put in the
putting
work.
in the work,
Yeah,
have
you
been
put
at
in
the
the
gym.
work.
If you haven't been in the gym, how are you going to run that marathon?
Yeah, man.
You can't even sprint.
Yeah.
How
If
you
you're
gonna
not,
how you gonna walk if you haven't even crawled?
that's right, dude. I mean, although you did do a marathon without any training.
We'll talk about it since you
Whole
brought
other
it up.
story.
Yeah, but
But
I'm
no,
more,
the point is accurate.
guys that keep showing up and we're willing to promote. Yeah, I'm willing to come here and talk to them because they're putting in the work here and helping us build it.
And you see who comes on Tuesday nights. You see the 4 horsemen that are running it that
And
are
then who
that are
doesn't.
certainly exactly. And you see who puts in the work, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool thing.
And then don't think I don't notice who's not here too.
Oh, for sure, dude, for
Yeah.
sure. And it's neat about your point about the people being willing to help. It's
Right.
it's really cool to me coming into the comedy world from music because there's plenty of great musicians and I've had plenty of mentors and cool people in music, but it's very different at live events. the musicians are basically treated like a Fabergé egg being bussed around in a Brinks truck. It's crazy. It's like, they act like they're on a whole nother level, and it's on a pedestal somewhere, and they're tucked away in a corner until it's showtime. They do their show, and then they sprint out the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a whole different thing. You don't get that kind of sit down and talk in, and you get headliners rolling in here, sitting down and giving you like mentor talks. I mean, we had one night in here with Jay Black after the pod that was unfree. Thank you, Jay, by the way, for doing the pod
Shout out,
twice
Jay.
and just being an awesome freaking guy. You know what I mean? Like, he sat down and talked to us and gave you guys comedy tips. I'm just sitting there like, whoa, this is incredible. You know what I mean?
Not me. He's given up.
He waited until you left the room.
I was joking. What were you doing?
I'm totally kidding.
Talk about not talking about it until you bring it up. Well, now that you brought it up, toss that ball up and let me knock it out of the park.
Oh, I love it, dude. I love it. Oh, man. All right, I'm going to Mr. Magoo mode. Oh, that's what I wanted to hit you with, dude. Your stand-up evolution. So you mentioned it. So you started at did you ever do anything before you came here?
No.
So debut was on the Melody Room open mic stage.
Yeah.
And that was last September,
Last
October?
September.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
I want to say the 13th.
Yeah, no, it was the 13th, and it was in Gatsby's.
Right.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Because
right
initially
on.
it was supposed to be in the Dome, and then we didn't have porta pots, and I didn't want to be bouncing back and forth, so I wanted everything inside and fall was coming last year. If you remember, fall came so
In a
quick.
hurry, yeah.
The minute it went to fall, it went quick.
It was done. Yeah.
And so when the sun goes down, it gets cold out there. So I'm like, we're gonna be in here in the winter anyway. Let's start bringing them in now.
Yeah.
And
Right.
some open micers got upset about that.
Really?
Because they heard that it was supposed to be in the Dome. They came back and it wasn't in the Dome. It was inside. And then a lot of people talked trash because I was inside the line dancing and not in here watching comics.
Which is crazy.
Because your life is revolving around dudes that just started comedy, and you
for
need
2
to see
years
their
I
entire
sat in
evolution.
Royersford and watched every open mic and watched half these guys never tell another joke.
Right.
Do the same 5 minutes for 2 years.
Yeah. And dude, listen, you got eyes in that room. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If somebody's
Well,
doing something, you're going to hear about it.
But the FBI doesn't give out their sources. In case you didn't follow the pinky.
Either do Italians.
Yeah.
My man.
No. And I still come in from time to time, and I think I'm going to start doing the open mics because I have to perform in front of my hometown.
Oh.
And,
wait, what's this?
Well, so I do a show twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's for the Rotary, and my mom was the third female president, and so they're having me back again at the end of October, and I just did it in March.
So you got to work out some material.
Well, I got to work out some material, and I want to make sure I'm doing some new material.
Can't be same joke Johnny.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Jaden goes, be careful, because if the guys aren't laughing or they are laughing, I go, yeah, no, I know. You don't have to tell me. I go, it's either really funny or they're laughing because it's jarring.
Right.
Right.
We'll figure it out.
Right.
You think my edible story would go over well at the Rotary?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll just sit you down for a reference.
Yeah.
If you don't know who I mean.
Visual aid over here.
Yeah. The Lancaster version of Santa Claus, Fly Eagles Fly.
Oh, I love it, man.
But you think you've developed a community now?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Because when we first took over, we were doing it for like 5 or 6 guys. I looked at the first page on the notebook I kept for the list of the night. I think there was 7 the first night I took over as.
7 of the guys
first
that
host.
did that night are still here?
No, I mean 7 were on the list total. Like,
On the 13th?
no. This is what that was.
Oh,
Yeah. Fast forward a month or so, we took over.
got it.
Right. Yeah. That
Yeah.
first night that we had 7 people
Yeah.
the first night.
Yeah.
And last night we had 28, I think.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And it is a core group. I would say 20
Yeah.
are a core group that not every week everybody doesn't come, but for the most part, they're there before you forget about them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's really cool, man.
Yeah. But honestly, shout out to Jeremy, Chris, and Dylan.
Yeah.
I lack on the promotion. I'm not a social media type like them guys. They are really good at promoting.
We
I
know.
have something with
Yeah.
that. Dude, so I love the back and forth with Chris and Jeremy about Chris's posts.
Yes.
Have you seen any of these?
Yes.
Dude, and Jeremy's always busting on his grammar and his
Yeah, yeah,
punctuation and all this stuff. And Chris is getting a little better and a little better. And Jeremy finally hit him with no mistakes this week.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
But I'll never forget this. The guys, they're coming up now, and they're like sticking up for each other, which I went, and I think I haven't told this story to you guys, but I ate my balls at the Stress Factory.
Oh, shit.
Open mic.
Okay.
Right? And the Jaden, that wasn't funny. But no, I didn't know you were listening still. But the host went up and like made fun of me. So up next was Jimmy Palumbo.
Okay.
And more of an actor now, but he still is a comic.
I know the name for sure, yeah.
But he was in a lot of movies with like Artie Lang. What was that?
Beer League?
Yep.
Okay, I know.
Those
I
kind of
know
movies.
exactly who you mean.
Yeah. And he just went up and goes like, "Oh, very funny to make fun of these open micers, you passive aggressive host dick."
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and but I've seen Chris go up and do that, where some guys like out of line, and then Chris will go up and like knock
Yeah.
No
knock him
shit.
down a few
Knock 'em
pegs.
down, yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris, I love Chris, man. He's a cool cat.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see. I got to see him for the first time in quite a while the other week, and
Right.
he's doing great, man.
Yeah,
really
he's
great.
really
yeah.
gotten pretty good in the past however long we've been
He
doing it.
perches on that stool like he owns
Yeah.
the stage, and he just sits down and has a conversation. It's cool.
Yeah, man.
It's really cool to see,
Yeah.
man.
But yeah, you're right. There is kind of a little
Community.
community.
Yeah,
know,
it bonds
brother,
because you do
sisterhood.
that together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's real cool.
There's always
it's so
two
neat.
shows going on. I always tell this: one for the show, one for the audience, and one for the comics. And we've developed this again, as it was in Royersford, where there's just as many, if not more, audience members than there are comics, which is hard to do. And we've made it free for comics, free for audience members. But I love watching it for other reasons. One of the guys, and he came recently, but he was in Royersford, and he goes on. It doesn't have a great set. I'd say a bomb. Okay? He walks off just like one of your notebooks. It says to himself, because I'm playing the music as the comics are going off and on the stage, and he just goes to himself, "It'll get better."
Words to live by.
Oh, it's priceless. Oh, that's priceless.
But dude, that made me laugh so hard.
Oh,
Because everyone's been
Who's
there.
been there, yeah, man.
Even someone who's gotten paid to do comedy. Like,
Dude.
you don't have good nights. Everybody can't be like, Derek Jeter or
Yeah.
Whoever it is.
Yeah.
You can't go 4 for 4
there's no
every
Cal
night.
Ripkins in
No Cal
comedy.
Ripkins.
Yeah.
It's the same in music, man. I've had those same pep talks to myself after a crappy
Really?
night. Yeah, 100%, dude. Because it's wildly like you're.
But I think, do you think it's easier to blend in when you're in a band, or it could be
100%, dude.
or it could be worse too?
It's a little bit of both. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's like I've always said, you guys. I have a team. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I got guys backing me up. If I have a bad night, there's a certain level of bad night that's going to get noticed for sure. But if
Right.
I have just a little bit of an off night, they're going to pick me up. You know what I
Right.
mean? But if you stumble, if you forget the doctor's last name or he's a urologist, not a proctologist, there's nobody. I can't jump up and be like, no, he's not.
Why are we only bringing up my examples? There were salt available. Why do you have to throw them into my wounds?
Well, in music, is there like
Thank you, Jesse.
no worries? Is there such a drastic up and down from like bombing? Like the crowd is different every night depending on what in the show, beginning to
What
the
venue,
end.
yeah.
Drinking, all that stuff. So you could go up there with material that killed last week, but then this week it's crickets the whole time. Is there like a drastic in
It's a
music,
great question,
drastic
man, and
difference
it's
in music?
interesting. I think for my type of music, it's a little more of a closer connection to comedy than maybe some other types. Although some other types would have to say that for themselves. For improv music, like a jam band, like my favorite kind of music, or jazz or blues, anything where you're improvising, we're trying to reach like a pinnacle we've never reached before every time we play a song that we've played before. And sometimes we reach it and it's really freaking awesome, and it's got to have some real close relation to when you're killing and you hit the punch and everybody's going crazy, to when we hit the peak of that jam, man, and we are in freaking ecstasy. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So but boy, sometimes that falls flat on its face. You know what I mean? And because we take chances, we do have the ability to mess up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's a lot of bands out there that play it safe and do what they do, and they just do that same show every time, and that's cool. That's a valuable thing in the music world. But I'm a chance taker.
I hear you.
My man, same here.
Nice. Love that.
I don't know, when you do bomb and you have, Joel taught me the muscle memory of your jokes, and you can just recite it, but then you get that inner monologue. That's funnier to me than the joke and the bomb and all that, because you have to embrace it. You can't.
I love that.
You can't let it get to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're going to bomb, no matter who you are. You're going to bomb.
Well, I talked to him about
100%.
this 2 weeks ago when he had a joke, and I'm like, don't bail on that joke. That there's something there. And he goes, oh, it's funny. He said it got a bigger laugh last time he told it. 'Cause it's all about the wording.
Yeah.
And like you always got to get to the funny the fastest, and sometimes it's a word you say or don't say, like Coke instead of Pepsi, like the sounding of words. But I'm like, just your inner monologue saying it, because you were breaking the fourth wall. Like, he was being honest with us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, forget that. I'm like, no one needs to know where you're going. You had just gotten back in the car. So you're in the car riding. Start there. I go, no backstory.
Right on.
No
Right
need,
on.
no one cares.
Trim the fat.
Trim the fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, and then start with that. And he's talking about, and I'm an old school hip hop guy. Boom, you listen to hip hop. Now you set the tune. Now you're already 2 sentences in. Now hit him with the punchline. Boom. Now we're here.
Set up, punch.
Yeah.
Set up, punch. Still tell the story, but don't make him wait too long.
I love that,
Right.
Yeah,
dude.
sometimes I've told a story and it never comes.
Well, you told me that setup punch.
Yikes.
That's awesome.
You told me that setup punch. Oh, is it my second or third one? And I had just done I just wrote a new like couple of minutes that
Yeah.
I did that night. And I was leaving, and you came out and you were like, yo, I like that. I liked how you did that. Boom, boom, boom. It was setup punch. He was like, that's what you have to do. And I was like, oh, I didn't even, like, I had heard setup punch.
Right.
But I never really
Well,
put it
and
into
that's
play.
why I try to say that, because I don't know if who knows what, but at least if I say it, maybe it'll be in your mind, and like you said, you didn't know, which I'm glad.
Right.
But I don't know. It'd be like, all right, yeah, I know, dude. I just didn't do it tonight. I'm like, all right, well then I won't say anything. I'll just go F myself and sit in the corner.
Yeah, right.
Good talk.
Yeah. But that's what I mean.
No one said that, but I read the energy.
Yeah. But that's what I mean about when I first tried it, like a few years ago, before I started the open mic up here. Kill Tony was coming to Philly.
Oh.
Yeah.
And my oldest son, Sean, he got me back into comedy and listening to the podcast and all that. And he said, I'm going to take you to Kill Tony, and I'm going to put your name in the bucket. Me and you.
No way.
Put your name in the bucket. I didn't even know what Kill Tony was. So he explained it to me. And I said, I'm not a comic. Like, I can't go up there. He was like, but you're really funny. I said, but it's not the same. Like, you have to write jokes. I don't know how to do any of that. So he said, well, we're going, and I'm going to put your name in the bucket. I knew it was probably not going to happen, but in my mind, I was like, I'm just going to go up there and say some of the dumb shit he's done over the years. And that'll be my minute. So then I start watching Kill Tony, and they kind of explain the intricacies of stand-up. Like, people think, oh, I'm just going to go up and say this because it's funny. But there's so many little details of things that people just have no idea goes into it. And even, like, the big guys, and you learn all this stuff on just listening to podcasts. Like, I think it was Bill Burr or Mark Norman, one of them guys, said everybody thinks I'm up there just winging it and riffing, but every single word I said, I've written down, I've practiced it 100 times, what I do with my hands, where I look, all that shit.
Yep.
It's all them little details.
That sounds like Mark Norman.
Yeah,
For sure.
it was
For
crazy.
sure.
Oh, he'll teach. He's like a class on comedy.
He's something else, man. Yeah, no, that's cool, dude. That's really fascinating the way you broke that down.
Yeah, man.
Did you end up getting up?
What do you mean?
At Kill Tony.
Oh, no, he
They
never
didn't-
went.
they didn't-
We never went.
Oh,
No.
you never went?
Oh, you
No.
never went?
No,
Okay,
no, no,
yeah.
No, because I'm like, finish the story.
No.
But
Yeah.
No, I
did
knew
that
it
get your
wasn't going to
brain
happen.
thinking about writing jokes, though, at all?
It did. After I came up with the little story of some stupid shit he did, I said, that kind of is like a joke. I was like, you told a little. I didn't have this set up punch premise in my head, but I was like, I talked for a little bit, and then I said this shit at the end that I think's funny. So I guess that's a joke. And then from watching Kill Tony and getting into podcasts after that, then they give you all the little details, and all that stuff. And
I'm glad you brought Kill Tony up. Let's talk about that real quick. I don't know if you know how this. I mean, I'm sure you've heard of it, but do you know how the pod actually works? Because this is neat. We can break it down.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well, David Lucas.
Yeah, well, that's right. Because Saturday night we have David Lucas coming, man.
And William Montgomery was here before, and Hans Kim.
They all make a kind of. I mean, I saw David Lucas. I watched that whole thing happen. You know what I mean? Like how he just blew up because he would just go on and just rip the shit out of the. So the people that don't know, Kill Tony is Tony Hinchcliffe, and then he always has. It's usually 3, sometimes maybe 2, big name headliners, and they sit there and watch people that get pulled out of a hat do. I think it's 1 minute of stand up. Right?
1 minute, yeah.
And then they critique them, and this is where like any people that are learning stand up could do a lot worse than turning on like 100 episodes of this show. Because learn. Like Dom Herrera's been on it like 50 times.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan's been on it a dozen or 2 times. I mean, like some of the biggest names in comedy, you name it, and they've been on. The Are You Garbage guys, I think, were on not too long ago.
Yeah.
You know,
Everybody's been on there.
Everybody under the freaking sun.
Everybody.
It's a good one, man.
It is a really good show.
Yeah. And Saturday night, David Lucas. Although this will be after the fact, this will come out. But anybody that saw the David Lucas show by the time this airs, that guy cut his teeth on Kill Tony.
Kill Tony, exactly.
Yeah.
The other funny thing about the open mic, these are 2 guys that don't come anymore. It's funny, Kill Tony gives them feedback, right?
Yeah.
And better or worse, and this is what happened, and the guys take it, whatever.
Yep.
But these 2 guys, and I love, like I said, I gave advice that was unsolicited, but Jesse was open to it and appreciated the feedback. Well, one guy gave another guy it was his first night, right? This other guy had only been there like 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah, and he goes, here's where you lost them. Just the fact that was the opening line, I go, I want to hear the rest of this.
Right.
Old grizzled vet of 2 open mics is busting out the advice stick.
But I'm like, but first of all, just that first sentence, you never had him. So don't tell this guy where he lost it. Because you need to shut the F up yourself. But I'm just a fly on the wall, sit there playing the music, just listening to that. I'm like, this is hilarious. Where? Like, you're not the vet.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. It was so funny.
Wow.
But I don't know if it's because watching podcasts or watching shows like that, maybe you get like a false sense of security.
No, that's just a special type of idiot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
Me and Jess watched a ton of podcasts, and I've never been on stage, and Jess has been on for a year now, and neither of us were ever dumb enough to make a comment like that.
Yeah.
The original host, when we started the open mic up here, I said, hey, man, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, I know you got to sign up or something, but that's all I know. He was like, don't worry about it, man. We're a really supportive open mic group here. And I was like, okay. So I try to stick with that. Like, everybody has a good set. I don't care if it was crickets from the time you walked on the stage to the time you get off. Good set, bro.
I love that.
Hope you come back next week.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We had some guys from Delaware here last night.
Dude, which is wild.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's always been intriguing to me that guys will drive from New Jersey, from Delaware, Lancaster.
Yeah.
Because over the Royersford, it got even bigger than that because people were coming from Harrisburg, which is like 2 hours, whatever, hour and a half, depending on where you live, but 2 hours. But then there's these couple of cats that drove all the way from Richmond, Virginia. Virginia Beach, I
remember
think.
hearing about that. That's
and it was like, that's like 6 hours,
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And the one guy was
That's
like,
dedication.
we're like, hey, Louie's coming tomorrow. He goes, well, I guess I am too. I'm like, dude, you're about to drive back. And then drive back, he goes, the whole car. And that guy only came, but he came by himself. He didn't bring the rest of the car. The rest of the car, he goes, yeah. No one else. I'm like, dude, I get it.
Incredible.
Like, I get it. Like, that's a 12-hour both days.
Mm-hmm.
And he was one of those dudes that planted himself by himself in the sand. Remember that?
Yeah.
That like because there would always be during one of the shows back in the Rofo era, there would always be a comment from the comedian about one or 12 or 6 dudes that are just sitting there like this in the sand because they wanted to get their ass out and see some shit. You know what I mean? It was so cool, man. That 2020 era, man. I want to watch that documentary again.
No, it was cool, man. Yeah, you can't take that away.
Yeah, man. It was something special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And any more?
I always got more, buddy. Oh, dude. So we love to talk about our open mic success stories, and Jess went from open mic to real show at 7 for 7, man.
Yeah. That was pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
Appreciated that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it was cool.
That was so exciting, man. And we were doing a pod there, so I didn't get to watch your set, but we were all excited for you, man. I was 20 feet away.
Yeah. To be, by definition, a pro comic.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And believe me, I will let people know that shit.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Damn right.
Just Chris.
Not in the past tense, you know. It's
just Chris.
Yeah.
Now. Yeah.
And you shared the stage with some freaking Philly beasts that night too, dude.
Yeah, it was a good show, man.
Foster and D'April and all these cats, man. I mean, there were some beasts on that stage.
Yeah,
that
and
was really cool.
Well, Brian Fennell, also.
Brian Fennell, yeah.
But also
Ray Gooch.
Yeah, but those are New York
Gooch,
guys.
I mean.
Yeah. Ray Gooch.
Oh, the
and,
Long Island contingent. Yep.
Yeah, Mike Keegan.
Gay
but then
Chicken.
also the legendary Wid, who hosted
Wid, yeah.
Who hosted that open mic at the Laugh House when I had the talk with Keith Robinson.
That's right, dude. Yeah.
Legendary Wid, and then John Kinzel.
You're almost there.
You're almost there, buddy.
Right.
You hear this, Rod? I just got to hang in there.
Have you ever revisited that conversation with Keith?
Maybe.
Friday night?
We'll see how it's going.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of mood he's in.
Yeah, that's got to be a. Hey, Keith, remember this? And Jaden's just standing over there with the camera.
Yeah, totally, dude. Totally commando, like at the Rim Cafe.
Yeah.
We'll see how it's going, because I want Keith to still talk to me.
Right.
Dude, I love it. Oh, I think he would appreciate that. I think he'd get a laugh out of that. But you
definitely.
feel that you know how to read a room.
Yeah.
But that was so awesome.
If you guys double dog dare me.
Oh, I love it. Let me see if I have anything else for the Jess man. Oh. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about the fact that, because we've said it a couple times during the pod, but Joel and I were never going to figure this stuff out. We were never going to do it, you know. And the fact that you did, when I know you're about as inclined to deal with technology as me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So props to you. And what was that process like?
Well, I hate computers, number one.
You and me both, man.
Good start.
Right.
Great start, right?
Great start.
If you can't do it on your phone, what are we doing in 2023, right?
Excellent second point.
So
We're off to the races. Age is on your side.
barely.
Oh, we're not doing ageism here, but come on.
When I was weird when I actually sat back and thought about, how I ended up being all involved in podcasts, and I think the ones we put out are pretty decent, for somebody that's not technological.
We're talking about you. Thanks for listening.
But I was just like, it's weird. It's a lot of stuff that I had already had experience with, like with the film and stuff. I had kind of gotten interested in movies, like later in life, like in my late 20s. Mm-hmm. So everything had behind the scenes on their DVDs, so I just watched all that shit. Yeah. And then when the podcast came around and they would talk about their technological things, I kind of understood what they were talking about from being interested in movies.
Interesting. Okay.
And then from trying to figure out how to make beats, which I figured out on my phone, I was like, oh, well, that concept is the same for the audio and the intro music I'm going to need to make. I was like, I kind of know how to do that now. And I was like, oh, you need a studio. Well, I can paint and build whatever I need. So I just threw that together. And I was like, it's just editing now. And, it's, the programs that they have is not super easy, but they're not super complicated. A couple YouTube videos, a couple trial and errors. And I just ended up figuring it out.
It's amazing, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
You should be a motivational coach. Be like, if I could do it.
Yeah, right?
Totally, man. Totally.
A couple of YouTube videos later, and he's like, voila.
Yeah. Bada bing, bada boom, podcast.
Hey.
Take the boy out of Norristown, but take that Norristown out the boy.
Man, what are we doing here?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. I love it. Yeah, we could use a little Norristown blood in this pod, baby.
Well, it's all surrounding us. Trust me.
Yeah, I remember when we first, we were giving me a tour, and we started talking about Community Cocktails podcast that you were on.
Oh, yeah.
Coffee Community and Cocktails
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
The
Yep.
Vinyl Closet.
It's funny. I knew exactly what you meant. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well, I told you the story about how I know her, and she's Italian, and then
Yep.
you were telling a story about the band.
Angela McFarlane, formerly, her maiden name is Bucci.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
And then the band that Russ Montalbano's
Yeah.
family band. And I was like,
Dinah and the band that opened up and closed out for Brewer.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the young female
Yeah, they're great.
lead
yeah.
singers.
So Joe was like, "Oh, I'm all involved in the Norristown Italians here," and I was like, "All right, you really are." And then shortly later, I found out you were part of the pack. You're half Italian, and then a couple months ago, you revealed you were Sicilian.
I got a chunk of Sicilian in me,
There
buddy.
you go.
Yeah.
That made my year.
Yeah. Just got to cut your fingers, and we're in.
Let's
Yeah.
go, baby. Let's go.
Wait, did you do the 23andMe?
My sister's fiance got it for her.
I was like, your fiance.
Yeah, my fiance. Announcement. No.
Well, it turns out we have an extended version of this podcast. We got a couple more questions. Where's he been hiding?
Oh shit! My mom would have a heart attack. She's been begging me for grandchildren for years.
I knew it was a beard.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh man, I forgot what the hell we were talking about. That made me laugh so hard.
23andMe.
Oh yeah. So I found out I'm.
You can't lose them if you never had them.
Yeah, that's.
That edible
yeah.
might be kicking in.
Yes.
Hey, I did not eat it yet,
Okay.
but there's always a
Disappointing.
little residual going on in here.
You laugh so hard it kicks in.
Yeah, totally. All of a
Oh,
sudden,
wait, is that a thing?
No.
Oh.
If it was, I'd just be laughing hard all day. Like,
But that's all, folks.
oh shit! Oh my god!
So you took the 23andMe.
Yeah, and I'm 17% Sicilian, buddy.
Wow.
It's funny because there's a local Italian. There's a place called Caruso's in Lancaster. That's a big, like, it's a family of. They were off the boat Italians in the 80s, and it was my hangout spot for school. I
Okay.
could go there and smoke cigarettes and be cool, and And I got served for the first time alcohol when I was 14 years old.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I got my first senior citizens discount at 40, as I've told before. Yeah, buddy. And,
Well, I wouldn't brag about that one.
yeah, that's only when it gets me a discount. And so I've always looked older than I am, and yeah, it just caught up with me.
Right. Do you feel any different now that you're Italian?
I feel way cooler, bro.
Nice.
For real. I
Nice.
feel like I walk a little different, I
Yeah.
wear,
I'm starting to notice the tan more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did invest heavily in some bronzer.
Yeah. Dude, you keep making me think. I'm such an idiot. I have bought Ancestry.com because my dad's side of the family has all done them. So, like,
Okay.
that's how you can get connected with them. You know, like my cousin's husband, he found out that his closest relative was his uncle, his dad's brother.
Okay.
Genetically, like, that's how. But it's true because his dad's a twin.
Ah.
So it's like, yeah, it just makes it funny that way. That you're
Yeah.
like, but so I've ordered it twice because I lost the first one and I just still haven't. I don't want to say, but I don't know how to do it. Like, I heard it's like a swab or whatever, but I'm like, I think I just need someone then to register the account. I just need to take a minute and just do it.
See, this is luckily I didn't have to do anything. The fiance, Scott, did it for Katie.
He said, take down your pants.
Yeah, and as long
This
as,
won't hurt a
yeah,
bit.
as long as there were no illicit happenings in the family, my results are the same.
Okay.
So he just like swabbed your.
Yeah, you just do like a cheek thing. You put it in a plastic envelope, and
Yeah.
you mail it off, and you get your results. You
Yeah,
know,
that's-
basically.
that's what I gotta do.
There's some paperwork to fill out and stuff, but it's just following forms. You know what I mean? It's not the most fun.
No. That's where they lost me was the paperwork.
I get bogged down in that stuff too, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, details. We're not detail men.
No, I hate it.
We're big picture.
That was my downfall with corporate America.
Oh well, we're the big picture boys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, dude, I know. I was
Have you ever done it?
Nah.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty solid.
Yeah.
He knows what's going on in the old
Don't ask,
Marchese
don't tell.
line.
Well, I could picture him because I almost thought this way too, which I think is why I didn't do it the first time. I'm like, I don't want to get tracked.
Yes.
And I'm like, Who cares,
Dude.
They're
Yeah.
tracking everything
Everything.
Anybody,
anyway.
it's funny because that line I've heard that too, and I've thought it. And but dude, I mean, the second we all bought cell phones, we were in the Matrix.
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
over.
Yeah,
buddy.
you hit accept. What am I not going to hit accept?
Yeah,
oh,
man.
sign here. What am I not going to sign here?
Even
I got
old-
no choice.
What
Even
are
old school
cookies?
Al that can barely work the shit, man. I'm in. You know what I mean?
Right.
I got a phone on me. I got a Chromebook. You
I
know?
noticed that on your emails. You go by Al. Al Hill.
Only because it's easier to type. It's two less letters, man.
Because I thought, in addition to this new fiance, I saw your email and I typed it out to someone. I'm like, contact this guy. They're like, Al Hill? I'm like, yeah, I thought the same thing. Send out, see what happens. Ugh.
Yeah.
I will respond to either.
But this has been a lot of fun, man.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
Jess.
We
Right on.
appreciate you reinvigorating and Soul Joel TV. Without this, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, man.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
We need to get to 1,000.
Yes, please.
Trying to
Yes,
get
and
there.
thank you for everybody that has
free.
responded to our call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys.
Click the subscribe and share it up on your social media and get other people to come laugh with us.
Yes. Yes.
For Jesse, Alan Hill, Soul Joel. Peace. Dude, that was great.